The Vision turns on Paul Heyman. Seth Rollins as world champion runs almost always ends in a disaster for him in WWE. Deepest condolences to Sheamus. Rhea Ripley's recent win discredited. Good news regarding Rey Mysterio. A released WWE star begs Tony Khan for a call. Unfortunate news surrounding Ridge Holland's WWE exit. AJ Lee returning on next week's WWE Raw. WWE managed to anger the Rock and John Cena. Lack of trust backstage in WWE. After Seth Rollins, another WWE star is all but confirmed to be out of the Vision. Let's dive right in. Seth Rollins as world champion almost always ends in a disaster for him in WWE. Seth Rollins, the current world heavyweight champion, has held 6 world titles in WWE, 2 WWE championships, 2 Universal championships, and 2 world heavyweight championships. But looking back, nearly every time he's held a world title for more than a fleeting moment, it's ended in chaos for him, and sometimes WWE itself. With fears of a serious injury after Crown Jewel, and the Vision's shocking betrayal on Raw, the future of Rollins, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, the Bloodline saga, and Raw's entire main event scene is a mess, despite an electrifying show closer. Let's dive into Rollins' 4 major world title reigns and why they've spelled disaster. Number 1, first world title reign cut short by devastating injury. In 2015, Seth Rollins pulled off the heist of the century, cashing in his Money in the Bank contract at WrestleMania to steal the WWE Championship from Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. His 219-day reign saw him feud with Dean Ambrose, Randy Orton, John Cena, Lesnar, and Kane, even briefly holding the United States title as a double champion. But disaster struck at a house show in Dublin, Ireland, home of his future wife, Becky Lynch, when he tore his ACL, MCL, and medial meniscus attempting a sunset flip powerbomb on Kane. Forced to vacate the title, Rollins' reign ended abruptly. Since then, he's grown into one of WWE's biggest stars, but he was never quite as explosive in the ring after that injury. Number 2, first Universal Championship run crumbles under bad booking. When Roman Reigns stepped away in 2018 due to leukemia, WWE pegged Rollins as their top guy. He won the 2019 Royal Rumble and beat Lesnar for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania. With Reigns on SmackDown, Rollins was the face of Raw, but WWE's creative choices tanked his run. The wildcard rule and the 24/7 championship muddied the show, and feuding with Baron Corbin while paired with Becky Lynch, then WWE's hottest star, hurt both their momentum. Ratings dropped, and Lesnar cashed in his Money in the Bank to reclaim the title. Rollins won a sudden all-star battle royal for a rematch, only to be kayfabe injured by Lesnar. Despite awful booking, Rollins' grit won fans over, but the reign was a creative mess. Number 3, second Universal title reign hits WWE's creative rock bottom. Rollins' second Universal Championship run in 2019 was even worse. He teamed with Braun Strowman to win the Raw Tag Team titles from Gallows and Anderson, only to lose them to Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre at Clash in Paris. Rollins then beat Strowman to keep his Universal title, but the Fiend Bray Wyatt attacked him post-match. Wyatt's Firefly Funhouse gimmick was red hot, and pitting him against Rollins, WWE's chosen star, was a disaster waiting to happen. Their Hell in a Cell match, lit by eerie red lights, was slow and ended in a referee stoppage after Rollins used everything from a toolbox to a hammer on the Fiend, devaluing his stomp. Fans booed Rollins out of the arena, chanting for refunds and AEW in one of WWE's worst modern main events. Rollins dropped the title to the Fiend at Crown Jewel, turned heel, and Wyatt moved to SmackDown, leaving the reign a creative low point. Number 4, World Heavyweight title reign shines but ends in another injury. At WrestleMania 39, Cody Rhodes couldn't dethrone Roman Reigns, who became a part-time undisputed WWE Universal Champion. WWE created the World Heavyweight Championship, and Rollins, as its first holder, made it a prestigious title. Alongside Rhodes, who was Raw's uncrowned champ, Rollins led a revitalized Raw, defending against Finn Balor, Shinsuke Nakamura, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre, while bonding with Rhodes and other fan favorites like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Jey Uso. But trouble hit at day 1 during a title defense against Jinder Mahal, where Rollins injured his knee. Despite CM Punk's return at Survivor Series 2023 and his own triceps injury at the 2024 Royal Rumble, Rollins pushed through. At WrestleMania, he teamed with Rhodes against The Rock and Reigns on night 1, then lost the title to McIntyre on night 2, helping Rhodes win the undisputed WWE Championship later that night. WWE turned a chaotic situation into a masterpiece, but Rollins' injury delayed his surgery, as he wrestled hurt through WrestleMania and house shows. Rollins' title reigns show his resilience, but injuries and creative missteps have made them a rocky road for him in WWE. Deepest condolences to Sheamus. WWE star Sheamus and his family are grieving a deeply personal loss. His wife, Isabella Ravilla, shared the heartbreaking news on social media that their beloved dog, Mary Beatrice Betty Ravilla Farelli, passed away. Sheamus hasn't appeared on WWE TV since losing to Rusev in a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match at Clash in Paris on August 31st. Even while off-screen, the Celtic Warrior keeps fans updated on his life. Last month, he shared the happy news that Betty was cancer-free, but in a devastating update, Ravilla announced that Betty crossed the Rainbow Bridge on October October 14th, 2025. Take my hand. Stay, Joanne. Heaven's not ready for you. Every part of my aching heart needs you more than the angels do. Mary Beatrice Betty Revilla Farrelly, 2019, October 14th, 2025. The love of my life and light in my heart gained her angel wings this evening at 6:36 p.m. as the sun set over our Nashville home, Revilla wrote. She posted touching photos of Betty and reflected on their time together. Oh, Betty, you were my whole world for 4 years, 9 months, and 7 days. That may seem short, but it felt like I'd known you my whole life. Now I don't know how the rest of it can go on without you. She was the happiest, sweetest, silliest girl until the very end. Cancer took her leg and more, but it never took her spirit. My Betty, thank you for the honor of loving you and being your mom. Thank you for making our family whole. I will see you across the Flower Bridge. I know there will be a whole committee to welcome you there, from your Lola to Vesper. And when the wheel turns us out again, I will find you. I will find you in every lifetime. Mommy's got you, always. There's no word yet on when Sheamus might return to WWE. WrestleVotes reports that he's among the stars, like Drew McIntyre, pushing for their old theme songs to return. Sheamus brought back his iconic Written in My Face last year, but has since switched to a new Def Rebel track. With Shinsuke Nakamura and the Street Profits recently going back to their original music, it'll be worth watching to see if Sheamus gets his classic theme when he steps back into the ring. Rhea Ripley's recent win discredited. Rhea Ripley is riding a hot streak, unbeaten since losing in a triple threat match for the Women's World Championship at SummerSlam, where Sky was also involved. On the October 13th episode of Raw in Perth, the Eradicator outlasted Kairi Sane in a hard-fought singles match, but the night ended with the Kabuki Warriors standing tall after attacking Ripley, leaving her needing help to limp backstage. Asuka took to social media to downplay Ripley's victory, posting a photo of herself and Sane next to Ripley, sprawled out on the announce table. In her caption, the Empress of Tomorrow claimed Sane was the true winner, despite being pinned. Who do you think claimed true victory yesterday? Look at this photograph. Does Kairi Sane appear defeated? Number. She stands with the unmistakable presence of a champion. The truth is clear. It was Kairi who seized genuine victory. She was counted to 3. But was this not part of Kairi's grand design? Asuka wrote. The 44-year-old praised Sane's cunning, saying she set a trap for Ripley. Rhea, the seeming victor, had the audacity to assault me, the sublime one, yet this was Kairi's magnificent trap. She calculated calmly, waited for her moment, and struck the instant Rhea became fixated on me. For Rhea, it was a bolt from the blue. She found herself staring at the heavens from atop that table. Had it occurred in the ring? Not 3 counts, 20, no, 100 would not have sufficed. Kairi accomplished precisely what she intended. To win is the path of those who fear not loss. Thus, in defeat lies liberated victory. The legendary Empress Asuka added. Ripley and Sane went toe-to-toe for nearly 16 minutes, trading big moves and close calls. But inside sources, speaking on Sportskeeda's Legion of Raw, raised concerns about the match. The 64-year-old source questioned how a 15-minute bout with Sane, who's much smaller, helped Ripley's image. They argued that WWE's creative team, led by Triple H, should have factored in the size difference to make the match feel more believable. Will this criticism and Asuka's bold claims fuel Ripley's fire as she continues her feud with the Kabuki Warriors? Good news regarding Rey Mysterio. WWE legend Rey Mysterio has been out of action for 6 months, but fans have reason to be excited. The multi-time champion hasn't wrestled since April 18th, 2025, when he teamed with Dragon Lee and Rey Fenix to beat American Maids Chad Gable and the Creed brothers in a 6-man tag match on SmackDown. Mysterio was slated to face Gable's mentor, El Grande Americano, at WrestleMania 41, but a torn groin suffered in the trio's match sidelined him. Fenix stepped in and made his Mania debut, losing to Americano. Mysterio underwent surgery over the summer to repair a torn abductor muscle. Now, PW Insider reports that he's been training at the WWE Performance Center, a strong sign he's close to returning, though he's not yet cleared to compete. Even while injured, Mysterio stayed active with WWE, especially in Lucha Libre AAA events. At the first Worlds Collide in June, he hyped up the crowd in Inglewood, California at the Kia Forum. He also appeared at Triple Mania 33 to induct Conan into the AAA Hall of Fame. His proudest moment came at Worlds Collide in September, where his son, Dirty Dominic Mysterio, had a breakout year. Dominic won the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania and still holds it. At Worlds Collide, he made history by defeating El Hijo del Vikingo for the AAA Mega Championship. In a tense moment, Dominic forced Rey to crown him, placing the title around his son's waist to close the show. With Rey nearing a return, will he clash with his son or chase his own glory? A released WWE star begs Tony Khan for a call. Braden Ray, known as Sexy BJ Ray, is reaching out for a new opportunity after WWE let him go. On October 10th, 2025, the company released a wave of talent, including Ray, Wesley, Stevie Turner, Lance Anoa'i, Gintala, Draco Knox, Hayes Jameson, Summer Sorrell, and Jamar Hampton, among others. Ray took to Instagram with a bold request for AEW president Tony Khan, writing, "Tony Khan, call me. signaling his desire to join the rival promotion. During his WWE stint, Rey appeared sparingly on NXT but shone brightest on WWE LFG. He revealed on social media that since returning for LFG's first season, he's been wrestling with a fully torn rotator cuff and labrum. The 26-year-old shared his grit, saying, "Cat's out of the bag. Yes, ever since my return on LFG Season 1, I have been competing with a 100% torn rotator cuff and labrum. The surgeon asked me, 'Bro, how have you been wrestling? The only thing holding your shoulder together is your muscle fibers.' I told him, the show must go on. That's right. I wrestled both seasons of LFG, basically not even able to wrestle because I knew that my personality was more than any other contender had." With stars like Andrade jumping from WWE to AEW earlier this year after leaving AEW in 2023, the doors open for others to follow. Will Tony Khan pick up the phone for Rey or any of the other recently released WWE stars? Unfortunate news surrounding Ridge Holland's WWE exit. Ridge Holland's departure from WWE has brought some tough news for the veteran wrestler. On October 14th, 2025, Holland announced on social media that WWE would not renew his contract, set to expire on November 14th. He's been sidelined with a Lisfranc foot injury from a match against Moose at TNA tapings on September 27th, requiring surgery on October 3rd. In his post, Holland shared that while WWE will cover his rehab costs, his guaranteed pay will end, a major blow as he supports a family of 5 and faces a 6-month recovery. A new Fightful Select report revealed that Holland's main roster contract expired in November 2024, and he signed a 1-year extension for about $200,000 less than his previous deal. The report also noted he wasn't paid extra for his TNA appearances. Some WWE talent expressed frustration to Fightful, with one male superstar saying this kind of treatment, cutting pay for an injured wrestler, wouldn't have happened before the COVID-19 era, raising concerns among the roster. Holland was part of the Brawling Brutes with Sheamus and Butch, Pete Dunne, on the main roster. Wrestling journalist Dave Meltzer weighed in on Wrestling Observer Radio, slamming WWE's new leadership for their handling of Holland's exit. Look, a lot of times people go like, "Oh, if Vince was there, this wouldn't happen." Usually that's total bullshit. But I will say this, if Vince was still there, they probably wouldn't have fired him until he was healthy. They wouldn't want a lawsuit. The new ownership, they're cold. They're out for profits. No loyalty. Same thing happened with UFC when Endeavor took over. People who helped build the company for years, dumped, Meltzer said. What's next for Ridge Holland in wrestling remains unclear as he navigates his recovery and uncertain future. AJ Lee returning on next week's WWE Raw? AJ Lee made a stunning in-ring comeback after more than a decade at WrestlePalooza, teaming with her husband, CM Punk, to defeat Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins in a mixed tag team match. The former Divas champion hasn't appeared on TV since that Indianapolis showdown, but the 38-year-old might be back on next week's Raw in Sacramento, California, to help Maxine Dupree become the new Women's Intercontinental Champion. Maxine earned a title shot by defeating Becky Lynch via countout on last week's Raw, capitalizing on a heated rivalry. 2 weeks ago, Lynch clashed backstage with Maxine and Tozawa after Dupree mocked her for losing to AJ Lee, prompting Lynch to attack the Alpha Academy duo. In their non-title match, Lynch's overconfidence led to her downfall when referee Jessica Carr sped up the 10 count while Lynch was outside, handing Maxine a massive upset win. Maxine has been stepping up her game in the ring, and the Raw crowd is rallying behind her. Crowning the 28-year-old as Women's Intercontinental Champion could deliver a jaw-dropping moment, but taking the title from a veteran like Lynch, who's elevated the belt's prestige, needs a bigger story. AJ Lee could return to cost Lynch the match, reigniting their feud and setting up Lee's first singles match in over a decade against the man. For now, this is just a theory, but Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that AJ Lee is slated for the Women's War Games match at Survivor Series, teaming with Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, and Sky against Lynch, Asuka, Kairi Sane, Nia Jax, and Lash Legend. That lineup sounds like a blockbuster, and if it's true, the build-up could kick off soon. Fans are eager to see how the Black Widow holds up against today's top stars in the brutal War Games cage. Will AJ Lee make her presence felt on Raw next week? WWE managed to anger The Rock and John Cena. WWE nearly had The Rock and John Cena stealing the show back-to-back at WrestleMania 41, but things went south fast. The final boss vanished from WWE TV, and the company reportedly upset both megastars. Earlier this year, The Rock returned with a pitch for Cody Rhodes, which the American Nightmare turned down. Instead, John Cena turned heel in Toronto, aligning with The Rock and setting up a title clash with Rhodes at WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. But The Rock disappeared from the weekly shows, leaving Cena's heel run to fizzle out. On Behind the Turnbuckle Studios' The Coach and Bro Show, inside sources claimed WWE, particularly Triple H's creative team, botched the handling of these two giants. If you really believe that there aren't going to be any ramifications to this, think about this, Coach. We've succeeded in off John Cena and The Rock. Those are two very powerful people. And if I'm Triple H, those are the last two people that I would want to off. I would be going out of my way to make those people happy because, let's face it, those are the most powerful people besides him, the source said. Cena's final run as a heel dragged on for months, losing steam until he ditched the villain role and went back to his fan-favorite roots for a SummerSlam rematch with Rhodes in New Jersey. On New Heights, hosts asked The Rock about his role in picking Cena's final opponent. The final boss downplayed his influence, emphasizing it's Cena's call. "I have a tiny bit of influence in the booking of it, but it's really just, it's whoever John Cena wants. Really, that's what it comes down to. Whoever he wants, that should be. It's not me or Nick Khan or Triple H, it's whoever John wants. That guy has earned it," The Rock said. It seems unlikely that The Rock and Cena will share the ring again, leaving fans wondering how WWE will handle the fallout from upsetting two of its biggest icons. Lack of trust backstage in WWE. WWE's backstage atmosphere is reportedly tense, with trust issues bubbling up after a major shakeup in plans. At Crown Jewel, Seth Rollins defeated Cody Rhodes in a champion versus champion match to claim the Crown Jewel Championship. On Raw, the Visionary boasted about his win, claiming he didn't need anyone. But the night ended in shock when the Vision turned on him, with Braun Breaker hitting a spear and Bronson Reed following up with a tsunami. Fans were stunned, and reports later surfaced that Rollins' injury from Crown Jewel forced WWE to change course. However, Dave Meltzer of F4WOnline.com revealed that many within WWE are doubting the injury's legitimacy due to a similar fake injury angle earlier this year. They were told it was from an injury in the match with Cody Rhodes. But after being told his other injury was legit, many are not fully believing anything right now. Meltzer wrote, "The skepticism stems from WWE's earlier stunt at Saturday night's main event, where a storyline injury for Rollins was sold as real, only for him to return healthy at SummerSlam and cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase. In the attempt to work everyone, the belief in what those are being told, and there are multiple cases of this in recent months, the Rollins SNME injury being the one that really cost credibility with several in the room. The lack of trust right now is pretty high," Meltzer added. Rollins' injury has thrown WWE's immediate plans into disarray. Reports confirm he's set for medical tests this week to assess the damage. On Raw, CM Punk won a triple threat match to become the #1 contender for Rollins' World Heavyweight Championship, but the injury leaves their showdown uncertain. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Meltzer noted that WWE had tentative plans for Rollins to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 42. How serious Rollins' injury is and its impact on Triple H's creative direction is anyone's guess for now. After Seth Rollins, another WWE star, is all but confirmed to be out of the Vision. The Vision is falling apart after Seth Rollins was brutally ousted from his own faction on the October 13th episode of Raw following Crown Jewel. The shocking turn also seems to confirm that another star, Rollins' wife, Becky Lynch, is no longer part of the group. The man joined the Vision after helping Rollins retain his World Heavyweight Championship in a fatal four-way match against CM Punk at Clash in Paris on August 31st. The power couple then teamed up to face CM Punk and AJ Lee in a mixed tag team match at WrestlePalooza on September 20th. Lynch's last appearance with the Vision was on the Go Home Raw before Crown Jewel, where she had a backstage meltdown in front of Rollins and Paul Heyman, announcing she wouldn't travel to Perth, Australia. Everything changed in just a week. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, backed by Paul Heyman, turned on Rollins during Raw, a move fast-tracked due to the Visionary's injury from his Crown Jewel match against Cody Rhodes. PW Insider's Mike Johnson reported that Rollins is likely facing shoulder or rotator cuff surgery, putting his World Heavyweight Championship reign and his upcoming title defense against CM Punk at Saturday night's main event in November in doubt. WWE hasn't commented officially. With Rollins out, it's almost certain Becky Lynch is done with the Vision. She addressed the betrayal on X, writing, "I'm gone for 1 week. Will Lynch confront Heyman or the new Vision members?" The Vision turns on Paul Heyman. The latest Raw delivered one of its most unforgettable endings, with the Vision's jaw-dropping betrayal stealing the spotlight. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed turned on Seth Rollins, attacking him and kicking him out of the faction he founded. The chaos unfolded after CM Punk won the #1 contenders match in the main event, prompting the Vision to attack him. Breaker then stunned everyone by spearing Rollins, leaving Paul Heyman visibly shaken. Despite his shock, Heyman eventually raised Breaker and Reed's hands, aligning with the dog of WWE. But inside sources, speaking on Sportskeeda Wrestling's Legion of Raw, warned that this partnership might not last. The source argued that Breaker's reckless nature makes him a poor fit for Heyman's guidance. From what we've seen of Braun Breaker, he's not going to listen to anybody. He would not have Paul Heyman. That dude would turn on Paul Heyman next week. That's what we're seeing with the guy. He's not going to listen to somebody, and he's not a guy you put a wise man with. He's a loose cannon. He doesn't think before he reacts. That's the last guy you want to put him with, the source said. With Breaker striking first and Reed joining the attack, Heyman's decision to side with them sets up a volatile alliance. Will Breaker turn on Heyman as predicted, and could more stars join this new Vision? The story's just heating up, and next week's Raw in Sacramento, California could bring more twists.